Hello to everybody watching and listening, and once more welcome back to the Mechabellum, playing with Elite Specialist because in my eyes it was the best of the available packs. At least it has some chaff, small chaff and bigger chaff. And I'm playing against Mr. Twigged here, who chose Marksman Specialist with Phoenixes and Crawlers. Well, I guess he has all the high DPS ranged units. He immediately goes and buys an Arclight and another squadron of crawlers, and he seems to be fond of stacking everything on one side. Meanwhile, I just go for a basic setup. Let me just accelerate time a tiny bit so that we can get the first placement out of the way. And I decide to purchase some additional marksmen. I have a bunch of chaff clear here. I have decent, how do you put this, endurance on the front. So getting some marksmen against the Phoenixes and the Arclight, and, well, I didn't know the Arclight was coming, but against the other marksmen and the Phoenixes primarily, isn't a particularly bad thing. That said, my chaff clear right now is nothing compared to him on this side, at least given the fact that he has the Arclight here, and I had about equal amount of chaff, or maybe even less. So, yeah, I just get pushed here. And if you've been in this situation, you know how it ends, usually. Now, I am able to kind of last here, which is only, and really only, because there is actually a very good tower timing for me. That is the only reason that I was able to win this first round up to this point, at least. The final battle will be a 5-on-5 against the Crawlers, whose team is going to win, and it ends up being my team. Yeah, usually I am used to the Phoenixes swooping in because they get the tower debuff earlier, and then they just take my unit, my sniper out, and that's it for the round. But in this specific case, I was basically with a not perfect, but very, very good tower timing, and that allowed me to win the round, despite me already having it written off, basically. The tanks covered for the marksman just enough so that the final shot of my marksman destroyed his marksman, and then I won the 5v5 on the crawlers. Now, I did go into some Arclights here because, well, chaff clear was a big issue. My opponent adds on another set of crawlers and another Phoenix squadron. He purchases Mass Recruit, and I think he goes for another Arclight. Yeah, here. I might have missed that. It might have been here already, but it's kind of dark to see sometimes. I leveled these crawlers. They have been doing good work, and with the 2 Arclights here, I should have a much better chance of winning this side here. On this side, against 3 packs of crawlers coming in, I don't like my odds here. Though on this side, I am definitely winning the chaff war, but the marksman has a lot to do. Like, it has 4 Phoenixes and 1 more marksman here to kill. But it is starting to get to work. On this side, unfortunately, the chaff war was not in my favor, but I still have some sledges surviving. And once again, it's tight, but I do win the round. Sledges can be very good, and with the added armor, they are extremely very good. We do have another round. There would be melters, but there's nothing really to melt yet. Scorpions against my sledges, definitely a decent choice. Wraiths, I think, are just bad into this board right now. And then we have Mustangs. I don't even remember which of these units I pick. I really don't remember, by the way. Like, I have no idea. Okay, I picked the Scorpion as well. I think it was one of the... Well, if my opponent picks the Scorpion, everything else is going to be quite poor, so I better pick the Scorpion myself. So that the opponent has or that I have something to counter a potential Scorpion. I do end up dropping a bunch more Arclights. I was thinking about maybe going into carry Arclights, but ultimately against Phoenixes and potentially Scorpions at least, and the level 3 marksman that is already present, I don't think that is particularly amazing. I think I held off on leveling that tank, yeah. Instead, I bought a universal health upgrade, which should hopefully help these crawlers take an additional hit from the Arclights. Oh no, it does not. Why do I keep thinking that this is a breakpoint? Because it's not. I think unless you are also the heavy armor specialist, which I'm not, I'm elite. My opponent, yeah, Marksman Specialist. I always have to check, even though I see that level 3 orange man here. By the way, it's close to leveling, actually. So this is kind of... yeah, it's fortunate. For a moment, it looked like it would be very unfortunate, because it looked like the opponent's Scorpion would target mine before the other way around. On one side, I am pushing through, but overall not enough. The Phoenixes proved to be too much, and my opponent wins with 3 Phoenixes alive. That said, I was glad that I didn't get completely destroyed by the Scorpion. A bunch of combat powers here, well, I guess combat power support. I do like to pick some electromagnetic pulse, simply so that I can... it's good in future rounds, because it will almost always force the opponent to put up multiple shields if it's ready, and it will become ready every 1 out of 3 rounds, I think. The idea here is that I just EMP everything. Honestly, if I were to play this again, I would kind of try and delay these Phoenixes so that they join the battle later, but it doesn't really matter much. Right now, the chaff war is essential, so I do drop some additional chaff units. I also did have completely unprotected flanks, save for this arc light, and that would be fairly easy to overwhelm with some Phoenixes and just about anything else. I do go for range on the arc lights. I'm not sure if I was planning to go into carry arc lights at this stage. Looking into the board, I kind of would be surprised if I did that, because I don't think it would be the correct move. But it is definitely helpful to try and stay behind the Scorpions. Because now the Scorpions have 110 meters of range and the arc lights have 23 meters more. So they will naturally stick behind. So now the Scorpion is a tank. I do have enough chaff to go around, and the chaff war ends up being pretty balanced actually, but I get to shoot first. I think that didn't even AoE the Scorpion here. At the end of the day, with my Scorpion alive and tanking, and my arc lights gathering a good amount of XP at least, the Scorpion gathering another level for itself as well. I put the armor here because the armor is just very good on a Scorpion. I did manage to win the round once again. Now, the Javelin, it's, I think, more expensive than what it should be, probably. If memory serves, I go for the improved firepower control, but I'm not sure. We'll see in a moment. Our opponent ranges the Phoenixes and repairs field maintenances the Scorpion. Now, they did change it, and it now reads that upon taking automatically restores 4.5% of max HP per second upon taking damage. So what does that really mean, I wanna say? It can't regenerate anything before it has taken damage. I mean, that much is clear. It should never be able to get more than 100% health and fill up on health preemptively or anything like that. Which kinda means that, and yeah, I did go through the improved firepower control system, which kinda means, at least for me, that maybe they only do it for a couple of seconds after they have started taking damage. Maybe I need to check that. Maybe I do need to check that in the future. But not for the moment. I have a level 3 Scorpion with armor here. This thing could have taken the Orbital Javelin. And I now have some Mustangs here with range and improved firepower control. So technically this has the damage equivalent of a level 4 Mustang already. That is going to help with chaff clear as well. And the Scorpion should hopefully be able to do the rest. So for the moment, kinda Scorpion Mustang is the plan here. This Scorpion does not have all that much to shoot, but my opponent has a lot of chaff. And I don't have a lot of chaff clear here, or a Scorpion that can take the damage. So with the additional chaff, it does certainly look like my opponent has the edge here, but some additional chaff has also moved in from here. But I guess these guys were already shooting at chaff anyway, so it didn't really matter at all. Now the Mustangs having almost as much range as the Marksman means they are very stacked. But that Scorpion is just ultra powerful. At the end of the day, my opponent is unable to kill it, and that means that the anti-air units behind it can actually start leveling. Senior manufacturing comes out. At this stage, probably usable. Deployment module also not bad. Strike specialist probably also pretty decent. But at this point, like, what do you effectively flank this with? I don't think there's a single unit that you can just drop there and it will quickly take the flank. I think these soon-to-be damage-wise level 6 Mustangs would shred anything you can really drop there. I don't go for senior manufacturing, go for a skip. I use the money on the Mustangs, or at least some of that money. And now they do 220 damage per attack. Yeah. This is so that some better chaff clear here comes around. And a Scorpion should make the board symmetrical. Which, by the way, is something that my opponent is doing as well. Like, this looks pretty freaking symmetrical. I like it. I always like it when my opponents also build symmetrical, orderly, nice boards. Although, let's be honest, it probably isn't the correct choice to do that. I do end up dropping another Mustang, so this has at least 4 levels of Mustangs chaff clearing, while this has technically 6 levels of Mustangs in chaff clear. With the amount of fangs my opponent has, chaff clear definitely is going to be important. 4 arc lights aren't the best chaff clear as we enter round 6. Like, they definitely help and do a lot of stuff, but they are not perfect chaff clear here. That Scorpion still is distracted, but now it finally retargeted, but it gets taken out before it can take out the opponent's Scorpion. Late chaff here distracting the Phoenixes, shielding the Scorpion from the attacks of the Phoenixes. And though I do get to have my Scorpion here, the opponent takes out the tower, and that should be enough damage to take out the Scorpion. Yeah. Then the Arclight dies, and that is a 4 against 1, so the Phoenixes win it. Additionally, the Phoenixes have higher range than my marksman. Fortresses would come out. Same with Vulcans. A Rhino. That would be something you could put into that flank, and it will win this flank. Then again, these are like level 2 brawlers, but honestly, level 6 Rhino would do the job. I am very sure of it. What did I decide to go for? Not even sure. I think in my mind I was debating whether or not I should pick the Vulcans. Simply because, well, more chaff clear. But I thought I already invested into Mustangs, so I should stick with those Mustangs. Anyway, my opponent has gone for the Rhino. He'll level some of his units. He gives Elite to the Arclights.